Hey guys, and welcome to the jungle of Total War Warhammer. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and today we have a showdown including myself, which is something I haven't done that often recently. So I'm going to be taking charge of the forces of Slaanesh in a domination game against the horrible and horrific army of Nurgle. Now, I spoke about this probably like a week or so ago, and no one believes me that Nurgle is like incredibly powerful right now. I think they've still got a stigma when they first started the game, but I think Nurgle are one of, if not the best faction in domination mode right now, so we certainly have our work cut out for us. In our main battle line, we have Marauders of Slaanesh, mixed in with some Hell Scourgers as well, so basic, cheap, and cheerful infantry, then two contingents of cavalry, one on either flank. We've got Hell Striders and Seekers of Slaanesh on the right. On the left-hand side, we have Heart Seekers, the elite of the elite, and another unit of Hell Striders to boot. Leading our battle charge, we have a Herald of Slaanesh, coming with the old Slaanesh magic herself. I did misclick, unfortunately, and brought one of the wrong spells, so I am not going to be coming in with Slice and Shards, which I desperately wanted. Instead, we have the Hysterical Frenzy, as well as Pavane of Slaanesh. I think that was the one spell I accidentally took, and Acquiescence. We have a beautiful Cultist Slaanesh going to be coming in with the Summon, and for my opponent's build, it's got pretty damn meaty, chunky force. We have some Nurglings, of course, fantastic for capping objectives. A nice central portion of Plague Bearers of Nurgle dotted all the way along, including a unit just being summoned into the realms of existence. We have Plague Toads on the left-hand side, a Cultist riding dirty down the middle. We have a Glorious Beast of Nurgle, and then we have the man, the myth, the legend, probably the best lord in the game, the Exalted Great Unclean One. He comes in with some massive drawbacks, of course. He can be shot to pieces. However, with Slaanesh, we have 0 range. He is guaranteed to get at least, 3k plus on his value over the course of a game. Is a world beater. It looks like our cheeky little lady did get a bit of a push going forward, jumping on top of the cultist, then falling back, cackling and manically laughing on their chariot. Objective 3 is being contested already. We're trying to use our mobility to our best of our advantage. Mixture of Hell Striders and Heartseekers going to bounce out here, trying to use our mobility to take down some Plague Bearers and get some free juicy value. But Plague Bearers are very tanky. They may take a while to actually fully drag them down. On the other flank, our cavalry once again is whipped up and around the side, charging downhill into the Pox Riders, ripping and tearing into mutated flesh. They're doing some really nice burst damage there. Look at that. Oh, so tasty. Particularly this is the start of the battle, so getting that free value is, of course, quite useful. On the central objective, I'm already a bit scared, so I've summoned some Fiends of Slaanesh. They're very fast and mobile. They have some beautiful attack and idle animations. Then we darting over towards the Plague Toads, looking to try to hop and twirl and dance as much as possible into the enemy, with the help as well of some more Hell Striders who are attempting to push through, currently getting bogged down on a Cultist of Nurgle. Definitely to see myself force moving them a lot quicker through into the enemy. This is just free value for my opponent. Likewise, though, we are going to be summoning some Daemonettes in the back line here. They're hit with a Blight Swarm, lowering their melee defense. I won't care too much about that. They're looking to simply jump on top of the enemy. It looks like we are able to finally kind of untether the Hell Striders from that Cultist and jump on top of the Plague Toads, or ripping them to shreds. They're currently being debuffed and not having a good day whatsoever. It's been a bad day for Toads in general. In the back here, it looks like the Heartseekers doing a decent number on the Plague Bearers. Unfortunately, the Hell Striders not really fit to stay in combat for too long, are going to be rotating back to get a juicy rear attack onto those Plague Toads. Our lovely lord themselves is going to be diving through the Nurglings, trying to run them over as much as possible. I love this chariot. It's got some really cool sparks flying off it there as it rolls dirty through the filth of Nurgle. Glory to Slaanesh indeed. Marauders of Slaanesh doing a decent job. The Seekers as well as the Hell Striders finish off those Plague Toads, then came in for some big rear attacks into the center, giving us pretty decent dominance in the middle here. We summon a unit of Spawn of Slaanesh to drive into the center and hopefully overwhelm the enemy infantry. It looks like a mixture of the Herald as well as the cavalry rear attacks, really giving us a dominant position in the middle of the battlefield, and we are starting to claim this objective in the name of Slaanesh. Fiends are going to be piecing out of here. Looks like it's gone to a bad situation. We assassinated the unit we wanted to fight. Now there's a Beast of Nurgle and Cultist over here, so we're going to be trying to pull out of this as much as possible and float over to perhaps jump these Forsaken, who are getting a little over-eager, thinking they can contest against Heartseekers, who drive their steeds forward, looking furious at the Nurgle Forsaken would even dare to come near them. Hop on top of them, send them flying. Lovely frontal charge. We followed up by a rear attack from Hell Striders, as well as a second rather beat-up unit of Hell Striders. We're getting some nice isolations here on the flanks, eliminating Nurgle left, right, and center. Seeker Slaanesh going to be driving forward to jump on some Forsaken. It looks like the Fiends are thinking of doing the same plan here. Going to be getting a rear attack, and look at that! A launching somersault into the enemy, those tails whipping down, catching the Forsaken unguarded there. Kind of hard to block a giant creature whipping its tail at you and flying into your face. On the objective, I'm trying to pull my infantry away from the Exalted Great Unclean One, knowing that is almost zero chance I'm going to be able to kill this bad boy over the course of the battle. We can pin it in place. I do, however, have a sneaky plan to defeat him, and it should be coming on the battlefield just now, and that is the Exalted Daemonettes. We can lower his damage output by charming him, and in the spawn pinning him in place, hopefully we'll be able to do some pretty decent damage. At least that is the thinking. More of the Slaanesh do currently have Rot Glorious Rot on them. There are going to be some Hellstriders coming over to support, and Objective 1 is going to start to be claimed by me. We're a little slow capturing this, but I was putting the majority of my forces into trading effectively against the enemy and capturing that middle objective. The Herald of Slaanesh has popped over here. Looks like some Nurglings are clogging up her tyres, though, and that's not going too well for them. We are able to maneuver a decent chunk of reinforcements over here to finish off the Forsaken as quickly as possible, and our Objective 3 is going to be claimed by me, or at least it would seem. We have a beat-up unit of Hellstriders. All of these other units are going to have to start pouring into the middle. However, my opponent is putting some massive pressure on me now, with more Nurglings joining the party, and the horrible stream of corruption. A devastating spell. Didn't get the best connection there, which was very lucky for me. That spell can one-shot infantry if you overcast it. It is very, very powerful. And the middle objective is currently being held by me, but not for long. It looks like Nurgle's starting to assert a little bit of dominance here. We are ahead on tickets and about to get a triple cap. But, you know, you never really want to give Nurgle a foothold back into the game. Spawned in a decent job. Now, the Exalted Great Unclean One has been charmed. So his melee attack is 52, which is still pretty nasty, but not horrendous. And hopefully we can start to drag him down. You can see he's taking significant burst damage now. Unfortunately, there are some Plague Bearers nearby, which are causing me one or two problems. Now, the Fiends are going to be driving hard into the middle. I'm really trying hard to contest this objective as much as possible and throw my body on the line. We have a load of units who are starting to be kind of coming back into the battlefield. They're beat up infantry, though, so I've got to make the decision. Do I fight for the middle, or do I get these units off the field? And for the majority of these units, I decide I'm going to fight for the middle. We don't back down to no smelly Nurglings, and that does actually pay dividends, at least at the moment. We are holding the objective. It will mean I won't be able to summon as many infantry in the late game or as quickly. Hellseeker's doing a decent job here. Sweet Sorrow has gone down. Fiend Slaanesh doing a decent job. And we're just about wrestling control of the middle for now. The Exalted Great Unclean One looking very strong, though, in that central pocket. It looks like the Spearmen pushed up to help out their Liege Lord here, who's did a decent job running over Nurglings anyway. Up to 48 kills. We also have some Chaos Furies over here. Should be able to drag down the Nurglings quickly, and then hopefully I can use the Furies and Herald to come over and once again fight for the middle of the battlefield. We do claim my opponent's home objective, Objective 3 there. Not for long, though. It looks like our Hellstriders were eventually dragged down by a mixture of Chaos Furies and Nurglings. Need to get some troops over here quickly. Looks like we're using one unit of Furies, and I'm thinking hopefully I can jump this unit of Nurglings and just kill them and at least stop the cap. But with more Nurglings on the way, it's probably not going to be possible and maybe a fruitless endeavor there. The center is getting very hotly contested here. We do have the Exalted Great Unclean One still continuously being charmed. Likewise, we have Heartseekers starting to surround him. They'll do big damage to pretty much anyone. Unfortunately, the Great Unclean One waving around in a little bit of a jiggle there is going to be popping Fleshy Abundance on himself. And what looks like a relatively weak Exalted Great Unclean One is actually still a very chunky boy with 5,500 HP. Middle, though, is still being contested. We do pop a Hysterical Frenzy, increasing the Herald's melee attack up to 88. They are continuously debuffing the enemy as well, jumping in here and doing some fantastic damage. The claws are snipping at Toad legs, and we're going to be eating Toad legs tonight, boys. Doing some lovely damage here. The Poxrai is getting dragged to pieces, as well as the Herald of Slaanesh running over the Plague Bearers in the center. Unfortunately, our infantry has broken once again, so we're getting forced off, and they really need to be dragged off the battlefield here. But I am desperately chucking bodies on the line. Looks like we're starting to lose the middle objective. We have a dominance ticket lead, though, up to 2,900 tickets. Very close game still, nonetheless. Objective 3 has now fallen into the hands of my opponent. Herald of Slaanesh is just trying to pin in Plague Bearers and do decent damage to them in the back. I know I'm going to lose the middle objective, but I want to just hold it as long as physically possible to, give my opponent the least amount of time he can physically get to cap Objective 1. He's currently not pushing for it, instead moving all his forces towards the middle. We are able to stabilize a little bit here. We get a cultist onto the middle, and we are able to pop a cheeky summon of Daemonettes into action. Fortunately, looks like the Exalted Daemonettes were dragged down here by the Exotic Grey and Clean One. So many times it felt like we were close to bursting him down. I always feel like it's a mistake targeting him, though. You've got to accept the fact he's going to get, like, some absurd value and just kill the infantry and cap the objectives. We do have a load of Hellstriders pushing in once more, and we are continuing to contest this objective. My opponent is starting to take it back, surprisingly, here. It looks like I have more on the field, but I suppose I have summons in the mix. That is a little bit deceiving, and now we have the Plague Bearers pressing through the Fiends, and that's going to be really good play by my opponent, hopping on top of this objective. And this game has kind of slowed down into this big grueling blob fight in the middle. Furies are doing some nice damage, hunting down Plague Bearers, looking to get them off the field as quickly as possible. Looks like there is going to be a buff going down, but maybe the unit was finished off before that buff did land. And Objective 2 is now held by Nurgle, which I think is for the first time in the game. Objective 1 is my only objective I am still holding. Now, it's still a decent idea for me to contest the middle, forces my opponent to keep the majority of his forces there, but I'm going to use my fast mobile Herald of Slaanesh to start jumping units that my opponent is trying to use to wiggle around to Objective 1. It looks like we do get a Narcissism go down on the Forsaken. That's going to pin them in place and stop them moving, at least briefly. Furies are driving into my back line, trying to stop my reinforcements getting onto the objective. I have some Spawn of Slaanesh, and I've still got some tricks up my sleeve, despite the fact it looks like the battle has certainly swung heavily in my opponent's favor. Despite the ticket advantage at this moment, he's going to be receiving a lot of comeback bonus, and his army on the battlefield is simply far superior at the moment. Objective 3 only has 2 Nurglings on it. They will be able to hold for a considerable amount of time, though, and allow my opponent to get reinforcements there. So I'm really focused on turtling on Objective 1 at the moment. Looks like we've got some Hellstriders coming back from retreating, and some more Hellstriders who are able to escape the middle and rear attack these Plague Toads there. Down here on Objective 1, we do have an early push from the Forsaken and Nurglings. However, we're pinning in place with our Lord as well as the Spearmen. So very tightly contested so far. The Beast of Nurgle as well as the Plague Toads are on hot arrival here. The cavalry has stopped for some reason. We needed them to continue moving around and jumping on top of the Toads. Not 100% sure why they stopped moving, to be honest. But we have more Hellstriders on approach. At this point, we're going to use our Unbreakable Spawn in an attempt to pin in as much infantry and characters as possible, particularly the Exalted Grey and Clean One. I do not want him on the objective. He will drain all my infantry incredibly fast. We've also summoned some Chaos Furies here, looking to jump on Pox Riders, drag them down, take away my opponent's mobility. More Furies are being summoned. I have basically no money. I am on the scraping at the barrel, so I'm just going Furies to try and rush over here and hold the objective. I do not have to hold on for much longer. 4,320 tickets to 1,655. A devastating loss here, though. You can see by the pile of cogs and just weird contraptions. A unit of Nurglings killed my lord, which isn't the best way for a legendary lord of might and power who has slain humans for decades to go out like. But hey, someone had to die to the beautiful Nurglings. Hellstriders do jump on top of the Beast of Nurgle. We've got Furies trying to push in. I'm just trying to kill the enemy infantry and force them off the objective. There's barely a unit of Forsaken on here. We do have the Cultist, but he's got decent capture weight. Hellstriders are attempting to fall back to stop this cap, but it looks like the Cultist outcaps the Hellstriders there. We have a unit of infantry who can move in, but Objective 1 does seem lost. And we're so close. 4,560 tickets. It looks like there's even going to be a summon come down here by my opponent. The infantry does manage to get on the objective a tad too late, though. It doesn't look like they would make too much of a difference. And that looks like it's probably going to be game over. But is it? We have a push on the left-hand side. Marauders darting forward. Furies are going to be in support to help kill the Nurglings quickly. And a Cultist of Slaanesh is bomb rushing Leroy Jenkins style. She is the Usain Bolt of the Slaanesh realms. And they are going fast. Look at that, beelining forward. Hopefully allowing the summon to perhaps kill the enemy infantry and then use her capture weight to hold on to the objective. The Spawn done a decent job holding in the Exalted Great Unclean One. We have a unit of Hellstriders, which we forgot. I don't think they would have been that useful, to be honest. We do need them moving over to Objective 3. Unfortunately, my opponent has far superior army to me, and he's still going to be getting a comeback mechanic. So he's going to be seeing much larger kind of reinforcement sizes than me, and has a way larger army. Means pretty bad news for me. So we are going to fast forward it here a bit, because this is the only point on the map which matters. Can I capture Objective 3 before my opponent gets to that 5,000 cap? We've got Furies charging over here. Hellstriders moving. Our Cultist as well has joined the party. We're even going to be coming in with a juicy summon. And look at those whips go. Drag them down for Slaanesh. Daemonette summoned behind them. Going to get some lovely, devastating flanker bonus as they rear charge into the enemy. Trying to drag down the toads as well as these pesky plague toads. Looks like there's some Fury's Io in the sky for my opponent. Hellstride's doing some decent damage. But at this point, we would need the double cap, not my opponent anymore. And that bodes very, very poorly, as it looks like even with more and more Hellstriders pouring up to Silver Chevron now, we simply do not have enough to cap this objective. And at this point, I gave up. I was like, there's nothing I can do. And it was a good fun game, though. Well played to my opponent. I can't remember what his name was. Unfortunately, the names aren't here on the replays. But a really nice game all round, a very good comeback in general. I do love to see Nurgle get a victory, even though when it's against me, it does hurt my soul. But yeah, Nurgle, honestly, all round, I know people hate me for saying it, and they did on the last video where I kind of pointed out, I generally think they're one of the best factions in the game now, particularly on domination mode. The Exotic Grey and Clean one is just unstoppable. 5,800 gold value and 219 kills. Multiple times we were close to dragging him down, but alas, it is always a mistake. We probably should have just split. We didn't play this game perfectly. I'm not saying Nurgle won because they're OP in this game, not whatsoever. I think my opponent played considerably better than us in the mid and late game. We had a really good early game split, and my opponent jumping reinforcements. We weren't able to keep it up, and we should have definitely pushed their home objective a lot more when they were really gunning for the middle rather than committing forces there. That was a big mistake. It nearly worked, and is one of those kind of gambles that unfortunately did not pay off for us here. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a bucket ton of fun in general, and I really do love the Exalted Daemonettes. 1.7k gold value on one life. I wish I could have got them back in again, but they are quite expensive. That charm debuff is just legendary. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, though. If you did, make sure to leave a juicy thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content into the future, as well as leaving a comment down below what you thought of the battle, what you would like to see going forward, and all that glorious stuff. It's also really cool. There's probably a few new subscribers on the channel. I saw that Creative Assembly actually shouted out my channel, and in particular one of my videos. It was a Noblar only build, which is quite fun, on all of their, like on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, which is really appreciated and really quite cool. So yeah, massive thank you to them, and welcome to anyone new. There's a load of links down below in the description to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Discord is where you can submit replays to be live cast on the channel. And Twitch, you can find me there. Patreon, you can support the channel financially. I also do Total War lessons on that. Until next time, guys, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.